Hello everybody and welcome back to Crusader Kings, where, full disclosure, this is my second attempt at making the first episode of this series. The first attempt, it went fine, but it was just kind of boring, I think. And then I went and did some work, and then I came back and saw that Dark Horse in the Discord had put together a much more interesting start. So I'm going to do this over again, and we're going to do a new game here. We're ignoring this guy. He does not exist. He has never existed. Now, it's been a while since I played Crusader Kings outside of that one episode that I made yesterday, but it's definitely been a while, no doubt about that. There's some things that are different, no doubt about that as well. So let's just hop right on in here, and we are going to be playing in one of these timelines. The question is, which one? Well, I don't think 867 is a good one at this point. 1066 is potentially interesting. What is down over here? Hang on, I want to check to see what this is in the 1066 start date. So we're not necessarily committing to the 1066 start date right now. I just want to see what the state of the Holy Land is. So let's just see what's right on over here. Okay, no, we're not going to do that. So back we go to the main menu. I just immediately nope right on out of that one. We're doing 1178, and as we can see here, there's going to be a much more interesting setup in the Holy Land. So that'll be absolutely perfect, because we want to restore that, right? Our empire fell in the last episode of this mega campaign. By the way, this is a continuation of a mega campaign, but you don't need to have seen what came before. That was like 183 episodes. It was kind of insane. We ended up taking over, like, most of, well, a good chunk of Iberia, all of Africa here. We held all of Arabia. We held all of Anatolia. We held a big chunk of Greece and, like, the current Byzantine lands here. We held most of that. And we were extending all the way over to, like, here or so. We were rather large. But it collapsed. Deliberately, but it collapsed. So at this point, we're going to create a new character, probably. And this is going to be a landless ruler. We're going to start as a land... Specifically, let me just read here what Dark Horse wrote in the Discord here. For CK3, you should totally start as a wandering adventurer. Maybe the last descendant of the Zadoki family of the Israeli Empire. I mean, it's the Judean Empire, but yes. They could be following any of the adventurer paths, outlaw, even legitimist path. It's a bit later of a start, but 1178 would be very interesting since the Crusader Kingdom of Jerusalem exists at that time, which is absolutely true. However, I want to point out, these guys are not legitimate. At least from our perspective, right? We are the rightful rulers of the Kingdom of Jerusalem. And that's going to be a problem. No doubt about that. And then Dark Horse goes on to say, but definitely should start at least as a landless adventurer, no matter what start date is chosen. I like the 1178 idea here. This is quite a lot later than where we were in Imperator. I want to be very clear about that. This is like 800 years later. There's been a lot of change. Everything just basically reverts back, right? We didn't import anything, and that's exactly the goal here. So, to that end, we're going to create our own adventurer. Do we want to create this within this? Okay, this creates it within the selected character's capital province. So the question is, are we going to strike out from Jerusalem or strike out to Jerusalem? So that would mean we would strike out from, like, I don't know, Abyssinia or even, like, up over here. Maybe the Byzantines? That would actually be pretty interesting. If we started in the Byzantine Empire, with the goal being to take out the Kingdom of Jerusalem, I mean, I have a feeling this guy's going to be pretty strong. No doubt about that. So we might not want to attack them to start with, but we can see what we end up starting with. I've never played as a landless adventurer before, so this should be very interesting. So none of this really matters all that much, although we do need to have a Judean faith. So Rabbinism is kind of the default Judean faith, and we went fairly orthodox in the last one, so let's go with Rabbinism. That'll be fine. And our culture is actually going to be Hebrew. There we go. So I'll just randomize this guy's appearance a few times. There we go. That'll do. And we will randomize his name a little bit. Okay. We're going with this. That's fine. As far as our dynasty, I'm mostly going to I'm going to randomize all of this as well. So something along the lines of, I guess this works. Sure. Okay, as far as our ruler here, I don't like this amateurish plotter. We're a landless adventurer. We need to fix that. So we should at least be a skilled tactician. Let's go with that. And then as far as our personality goes, Wrathful is interesting. That gives us a bunch of martial. And I think we can go for that. And Arrogant might be interesting as well. Again, I've never played as a landless adventurer before, so I don't really know how this is going to go. I think Ambitious is definitely something we should go for. And then maybe like Zealous. Like that. And then as far as other traits go, well, what are we really interested in here? What indeed? We're only 25 years old, so... What is this? Advantage against co-religionists. What does that even mean? Okay. Oh, I wanted to point out, I've not seen these before. Are these rank 5 education traits new? That's interesting. I'm not entirely sure what's going on with that. Like I said, I haven't played Crusader Kings in a while, so that's definitely a thing. Now, I've got this Holy Monarch here. And I think we should maybe go with that one. That puts us at 393, and we can just finalize this guy at this point then. Look at all that martial. Okay, so let's finalize that, and we are going to start in the Byzantine Empire. I think that's an interesting way to go. If we can conquer Jerusalem and start off in Jerusalem, that would be kind of interesting. If not, we'll go somewhere else. But I don't know how this works. The path ahead stretches on and on, a lonely winding thread twining towards the distant horizon. My camp is quiet, just a few scattered tents and pack animals yawning in the breeze. Strangers and hangers-on rise with the day, preparing for their morning chores with reluctance. Oh, right. I completely forgot that we wanted to... Can we rename our dynasty at this point? Hang on. Let's go into here. Yes, I want to rename this. This should be Zadoki. That's how that's spelled, right? Something like that. I think it's spelled like this. Okay. There we go. So we're now of House Zadoki. That'll do. Perfect. Most are the miscellaneous chaff that flit in and out of a group on the road with each new settlement. Few faces catch my eye as ones I recognize, at least in more than passing. So we can say this will be an army someday, and we start out with 2 followers skilled in... Or we could be 2 followers skilled in learning, or 2 followers skilled in prowess, or not take any. We may find contracts difficult or impossible until we acquire followers. Okay, we're going to go with martial, because we do want to conquer some things. So these must be contracts out over here. Interesting. So that is all within the Byzantine Empire. This is our camp here. Visit castle holding. Okay, so we'd be able to buy provisions, sell artifacts, or peruse contracts there. This is gather provisions, and this is moving our camp in order to get more contracts. Okay, we're guaranteed to be able to test stewardship here. This is a diplomacy scheme, and this is a stewardship. This is all contract tier 1, so that's understood. What do we have for military? Well, nothing at this moment. So I don't know how this landless system works. Interesting. So we need to make money in order to create men-at-arms here. And we can refill those with food and gold. Okay. So it's going to need we're going to need money to do that, right? And this is a stewardship. So we see the icons here. These are both stewardships, and then this is a diplomacy challenge. So we can see what's going on with this. Wanderers of good breeding, experienced arbitrator is sought by Mayor of Chilai to settle boundary dispute. Education in Byzantine law would be helpful, but even satisfactory aid shall be paid. Okay, so we would get a decent amount of money. In a potential failure, we would spend prestige, and that's reasonably fine. So we would add this guy to our roll of patrons. So that's every character we've successfully completed a contract for, as well as others that have some reason to support us. They can be milked for extra support via the Make a Request character interaction. So where do we see our roll of patrons at? Aha. Okay. And then these are our camp followers. So right now, we've got this guy playing the lute, I think. Is that a lute? I think that's a lute. And then we've got both of these guys here. Now, they're both skilled in military matters, and we might struggle because we've only got the 2 stewardship and the 1 diplomacy here. We'll see how these go. So this will be interesting. We will travel to accept. So we're going to travel through here, and there's a 6% chance of danger here, and then a 24% chance of danger here, mostly due to forest. So if we wanted to do something here, we could definitely buy some equipment for this. Enables events to recruit wanderers for gold if you have open positions for officers. Interesting. So if we do that, but then we also purchase a wilderness kit, that'll reduce our safety down to 10 and 6. Which is probably pretty acceptable. So let's see what happens with this. So off we go. Okay, so yeah, we are currently here. Okay, so we have arrived. The dispute in Chilai stems from a minor local legal case. Our employer foolishly ruled a particular natural landmark to have a slightly different boundary than was traditional. Immediately, dozens of cases were sprung by petty landholders and privileged peasantry, all of whom had some grievance or other now raised by the change in definition. Mayor Serapion is at pains to let us know that our coin depends on calming the situation quickly and quietly. So, an 18% chance of success here. We don't have a follower with enough intrigue. However, we can force it and gain 75 stress. Okay. Sheer bloody-mindedness may not be an efficient way to solve every problem. Certainly I feel the toll of engaging in such rigorous shouting with so many angry locals, but it is effective. After a scant few hours of screaming and browbeating, the people of Chilai eventually sheepishly backed down, as I knew they would, if I showed my will. Mayor Serapion simply seems grateful that the whole debacle is over. Okay, so that seems reasonably fine. But yeah, those are going to be tough for us. Okay, and we visited the capital of the Byzantine Empire and gained some lifestyle experience. Cool. So we have no player heir. We should definitely do something about that, but apparently... Ah, okay. Yes, there's no one available. That's exciting. Well, that's interesting. So we could choose a lifestyle focus. Of course, we're going to choose martial. We do want to get settled fairly soon. The question is, how strong is Jerusalem? The answer is about 4,130. So, yeah, that's going to be a bit of an issue for us. If we wanted to head down over here, I mean, we could see what ends up happening here. This is a couple of dangers. So a 30% chance of danger and a 21% chance. This is because of coastal sea and hills. So the wilderness kit isn't going to do all that much here, right? So instead, we'd be interested in... Maybe not going over here. Maybe instead going over here. So this one would be through hills, so we wouldn't even technically need this. There's a 3% chance of danger, but here there's a 33% chance of danger. So we would be interested in purchasing Pathfinder's gear. This will drop this down to a 19% chance of danger. Okay, so we can head on off there. That'll be fine. And we can choose a camp purpose. So we're currently Wanderers. We could become Swords for Hire. That would give us a max number of knights +8 and an increased number of men-at-arms regiments. I think that we'll probably end up going this direction, because ultimately we're trying to build up enough power right now to go take back Jerusalem. That's the idea here. So we're going to become Swords for Hire, and that's going to change the kinds of contracts that we're offered. So that's noted. We're going to go for Valor here. That'll be okay. And let's head on off. Okay, so we got a willing follower here. This guy would be our caravan master. His aptitude is terrible. No. We're going to tell him no. If he had better aptitude, I'd go for it. Okay, so we have arrived. We are at a 6% success chance. Growth based on your diplomacy, 4.2% per phase. Steadfast camp, plus 0.4%. Max of 30%. So this option adds agent slots. It gives a balanced range of contributions. Okay, we're here to earn. So we can put in our agent slots here, and this guy, he would join. And this guy would join as well. So we now have a maximum on this of 60% based on our current agents. Noted. And we can execute this scheme whenever we're ready. So what is our current growth? 4.2%, and the number of phases is fairly high. So that's absolutely noted. Now, how do we go about upgrading this? The pavilion is already constructed. Okay, that would be 200 gold to upgrade that. This will unlock the second officer. Okay, we need a lot of money. That's for sure. So, impressing Agakaya feels like a full season's work sometimes. Despite being hardly the world's greatest noble, he has very curious notions about the standards other people should be held to. In situations like these, the safest thing to do is likely to fall back on what I'm best at, to pick something I do well and let my skills shine. Although for someone as oft-erratic as Kaya, I could also try to triumph at something thought to be less my bailiwick. Okay, so we could do our martial skills. This would 92% chance of success on that. Done. And we are suitably impressive. That's not surprising. It'd be very good if we could find ourselves a spouse, but alas, that just doesn't appear to be a thing. So there's that. Okay, so let's proceed forward here. We can see that we're going to hit this next phase soon enough. This is going to bring us up to a 10% success chance. What we really need is more agents, it seems. The distant shores, huh? I stroll through the market of this strange land. Vendors beckon in an alien tongue, and I'm lost in a sea of foreign scents. But strangely, this all feels like home. Where else could I have the pleasure of smelling fresh lavender, or of watching the sun set over the remains of old Rome, or listen to the jubilant chorus of a church choir, or wintering, warmed by the hearth of a friendly stranger? Nowhere but Europe. A man walks through Byzantium, but is he still Beneyahu? Which is us. Okay, so the interesting thing here is this is going to be potentially a mildly controversial statement. I'm not sure how European where we are actually is. This is really more Anatolian, but okay. Sure. Well, cultural acceptance can go up. We could adopt the Greek culture, which we will pass, and preparing invasion. Men-at-Arms recruitment cost minus 15%. For 15 years? That's pretty good. So we're going to do that. That looks... And we're about to get our phase up there, so that brings us up to 10.6%. Okay. So this is our roll of patrons here. We can make a request on this guy. He would give us a men-at-arms regiment, a random one. But what men-at-arms regiment did we get? Akritai. What are these? These are skirmishers? Fundamentally, I believe that these are like light infantry. We probably don't care about them. Increasing the size would cost gold. So that's understood. Well, it's better than nothing. So that'll do for now. And we're just working on this hobnobbing for the moment. Let's bring this right on up. That's going to be a while before we hit the next phase, so that's understood. Yes, so this is how landless adventuring works, I guess. I don't know why I didn't look at this earlier, but sure. So this is our camp. Yep, I found that. Our followers, yes. And our primary source of income will be contracts, yes. And this is our food. Understood. I already figured that out. We can view details about our camp in our realm tab. Okay. And we're on the road to power. We understand. Cool. So next up is schemes with agents. Yeah, I've pretty much figured this out. This is fine. No real issue there. What we need is more agents. We'd be able to get this up to 100%, but this is going to have to do for now. So the corridors of power. Well, we're going to get 5 gold here. But this guy would get a hook on us. We'll take the gold. We're interested in getting our camp ranked up. There's no guarantee that Agakaya will ultimately even end up giving me the gifts I crave, no matter how well I simper at his feet. It's clear that I must act, applying all the pressure I can to acquire a loan in advance. Then, if he graces me further, I'm laughing, and if not, my efforts are pre-recompensed. So 43% that he would give this to us, 36%, 22%, or we can play it safe. This would fail us the contract if we fail that. This is better. Either way, this is good. He would gain opinion of us because he's annoyed, apparently, or he would pay us gold. Let's do it. And we got the gold. Fantastic. That was a good roll. I like it. So that's excellent. So we've got these domicile buildings out over here, right? And we can choose what ones we want. We're limited to only 4 slots. So that's understood. Domicile income, huh? Okay. So what I'm thinking is 2 of these can be devoted to economy. Specifically, we should probably build this barber's tent sooner rather than later to get that online now so that we have income coming in. It's not much income, but income. Okay, what is this? Our little forest of tents putting itself up every few evenings is something we've gotten very, very good at of late. First one, then another, with people and tools spreading out down the lines to help their neighbors in a model of speed and efficiency. Even Pantolion and Pavlos, who aren't generally known for moving in the same circles, are quietly humming along as they aid each other. A place for everything, and everything in its place. So that's a fair amount of stress because we're ambitious. Or we could just say, good to see those 2 getting on, and that's what we'll do. Cool. So we're progressing nicely here, and back at our camp, we see that this barber's tent is slowly building. The next thing that we're probably going to go for here is going to be the roaring campfire. I think that's going to be important. And then I'm thinking for the next one, the proving grounds. And then beyond that, I mean, I kind of don't care about the skirmisher regiments. But sure. So we're up to 19% on this scheme now. We're not ready to launch this anytime soon. We're working our way up on this. We know that these are going to be rough engagements for us, right? That's always going to be the case when we were heavily martial focused, and then we generated 2 stewardship and a diplomacy challenge. That was always going to happen. So for now, that's fine. Our ambition is to take back Jerusalem and conquer it properly. Unfortunately for us, we're not in a position to do that at this time. We will get there soon enough. But it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to continue working on developing our camp here. That will definitely be a good thing to do. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Andy McGard, Dark Horse, Xenocyte, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.